I would like to welcome everyone to the University of Miami Sports Coaching Certificate Program, U-Hour. We're here to share information on this brand new program that was launched this fall called the Sports Coaching Certificate Program. And who we have here amongst us are experts in the different areas of sports. We have soccer, football, baseball, and we also have our lead instructor here with us today, AC Tellison. I would like each of you to introduce yourself, starting from the left, Pat, and just tell us a little bit about what you do, who you are, and how you contribute to this program.
My name is Pat McQuaid. I've been an athletic administrator and baseball coach for the past 40 years at Nova High School, and my expertise for this program is baseball.
Good. Okay, Kyle.
I'm Kyle Krupa. I teach the athletic injuries and performance enhancing drugs portion of this course. And I am a graduate of Moravian College in Pennsylvania, and also part of the Doctorate of Physical Therapy program here at University of Miami.
All right, AC.
And my name is AC Tellison. I coach theory and methodology. I have about 16 years of college experience in administration as a player, athletic director, and also as an academic advisor.
My name is Randall Hill, and first and foremost, I got to say I was born and raised here in South Florida, so I'm homegrown. Attended the University of Miami. I played here for 4 years. Was a member of 2 different national championship teams, one under Jimmy Johnson, one under Dennis Erickson. I played 7 years in the NFL, and I just love to be a part of the University of Miami.
I'm Everton Edwards. I'm been in the business about 35 years totally. I was a head coach at university, then I went with the US national team for 7 years, and now I am at Gulliver Preparatory School in Miami, and my area of expertise is soccer.
Great. Thank you all for that introduction. I would first of all like to start off by asking, why is it important to have certificates or certifications in your particular area of sport? Anyone?
Well, first and foremost, I think when you're talking about dealing with young adults and even young kids, it's important that you have quality coaches out there or instructors out there who know exactly what they're talking about, and because these kids are not only looking at them as role models, but they're looking at them as instructors for possibly furthering their career. So it's very important that these coaches and or instructors are well groomed and taught and versed in their particular sport.
Okay. Anyone else?
I think it's a critical tool, having the knowledge to teach the kids coming up. I think we were talking about this before this we take that the future is going to be where it's going to be mandated that if you're teaching a sport, you have to have some kind of certification. And these programs are going to go a long way because they teach you the foundation, and they need to go they can even go a little deeper and into CPR and running a program, management of a program, and so forth. I think it's a good thing.
Okay.
I also think the course sets a blueprint for how to become coach, what the things that you're responsible for, whether it be how to deal with parents, whether it be the X's and O's of the sport, the liability of the sport, and it just gets you to the point where you understand what your responsibilities are and you're ready to enter that profession. And I think the University of Miami coaching course is that blueprint so you can be successful.
I think it also creates the idea of credibility as far as if I'm a parent or an administrator and I'm looking into somebody who I can trust and make sure that my child is safe or my student is safe or my athlete is safe, then this course definitely establishes that credibility.
Okay. As professionals, what have you seen through your careers and experiences that really tells you that it is necessary to be prepared as a coach? Like, for example, give me a situations that you've seen during practice, at a game, dealing with parents, dealing with the athletes, dealing with the opposite team. why is it that you have to be trained so that you can deal with different scenarios?
Well, yeah, in general, I think all sports, and everyone here would probably agree with me, these sports and athletics in general, it's evolving. It doesn't stay static. From kids going out on the field and coaches back in the day, you could even see it on some movies where kids are not even given water. But now, you have to continue to rehydrate because of things that have happened on the field. So coaches have to be aware of what is evolving in that particular sport, whether it be for safety's sake and or the actual athletic and physical portion of the game.
Okay. Can any one of you give me an example of a situation that you've seen or observed or actually experienced for yourself, where if the coach knew what he or she was doing, it would have made a difference?
Well, as Mr. Hill said, you have to evolve with the sport. Sport has evolved, like he said, back in the day, coach didn't want to give you water. They say, no pain, no gain, sort of thing.
Right.
But now you have to be involved in water, hydration, the injury process, know when a player's injured, concussions, and so forth and so forth. So you've got to be well versed in all areas as a coach right now. So to be a total coach, you could not back to just X's and O's. It's about knowing man management, knowing your student athletes or knowing your players, and knowing what makes them tick. There's a lot of psychology involved, and all sorts of things that you've got to learn about.
Let me add, and I don't want to monopolize the conversation, but I take things to heart, and I'm very emotional about anything that I'm involved with. Even if you look today in the professional ranks, it's evolving, and as it in reference to concussions, and now coaches have to evolve even on the smallest end or minute level, whether it be flag football or even Pop Warner. Okay, now instead of coaches teaching their players in football to see what you hit, lead with your head, you have to lead more with the shoulder now because of just the problems with concussions and or loss of memory, and you definitely don't want to have those situations. So I think the University of Miami, has created a program where you can learn how to properly teach kids, young adults on how to on the fundamentals of the game and go forward and not only be successful but be healthy about it too.
One thing in particular that I love about the program is not only athletics, it also teaches young people how to conduct themselves on and off the football field or the basketball or baseball courts. In my class particularly, we talk about things like conflict management, diversity. So it's not just football, it's also preparing kids and coaches for life, things that they're going to take with them for the rest of their lives.
I also think safety is a big concern. In my 40 years of coaching, there's been 3 incidences where I've had to administer CPR on the field. One time when I was an acting athletic director to a coach who had a seizure, and then one time when I was a head football coach, I had a young man have an allergic reaction to an insect bite, and we had to give him CPR, and that was before we had trainers. So I think, the University of Miami coaching course, brings this point out to the kids that you're responsible for the safety of your kids on the field. And one thing about coaching certification, you have to have certification in CPR, and really you never know when these medical emergencies are going to happen, or you're going to have a situation where your kids don't behave in the manner that they should, and you're going to have to learn how to deal with those things. And I think our panel here, coaches who have experience, and they're going to give that experience to the students that are in the class, because there's I know when I started coaching, I was a head coach at 22 years old, and I was just sort of thrown into it. And I wish I would have had a mentor to teach me some of the things that you're going to deal with that come up. And I think this course, is going to teach those kids, some of the things that they're going to have to be responsible for, and some of the things that are going to come up while they are coaching.
Okay.
And also, to piggyback off that, we're not only training the coach as a first responder for athletic injuries, but also teaching them indicators for performance enhancing drugs, that they could understand what's going on behind the scenes, what's going on in locker rooms, the signs, the things to look for, how to intervene when necessary, and step in and take action.
Speaking of athletic injury, Kyle, you are currently, that's your field.
Yes.
What type of injuries have you seen by athletes that over the years?
I've seen pretty much everything. Knees, shoulders, concussion, ACL, rotator cuff, Achilles tendon rupture, MCL, meniscus injuries, TFCC injuries, mallet fingers, anything to do with any kind of finger or toe. We've seen it all, and these are all things that we discuss in the course, and we familiarize you with.
Great. It seems as though the panel here has a wealth of experience and knowledge in their different subject area. So what we would like, AC, for you to explain, when you had created the curriculum development for this program, when you were thinking about who you would like to be part of the program, what was the process that you went through to select these individuals?
Well, basically, I was just thinking, there's an old saying that an old ball coach, and the reason they call him an old ball coach because an old ball coach was a player. So when I was thinking about this program, I was thinking, how can we eliminate just having a player or ex-player become a coach? I wanted to think about other ways that we can influence people to want to become coaches. So what I thought about is creating a program where I can take an average person, well, someone that never played the sport before, sit them in a classroom setting with experienced ex-players, ex-coaches, and let them just unload a wealth of knowledge on them. And what that kind of does, it levels the playing field, no pun intended. It kind of levels the playing field. It gives them knowledge of the sport without having to go through the bumps and bruises. So when I was putting this program together, I designed it specifically for people that never played the sports before but had love and knowledge for the sport. And I wanted to put a group of coaches and teachers together that had experience that can just unload a wealth of knowledge on the student athletes or the students themselves.
So the audience can pretty much expect that the University of Miami brand name, which stands for quality and great educational programs, will actually transcend through this particular program as well.
Exactly. I want to take a mixture of ex-University of Miami athletes and coaches in South Florida that had success over a number of years, and I think I did a pretty good job with the
Great.
children.
And some of you are UM alums as well.
Oh, yeah.
So. Okay. How can this coaching certificate program impact school, leagues, and professional associations alike? Now, all those are different particular areas. Leagues are different. You may have some parents and so forth. You may have some coaches with experience, and then you have the professional area, and then you also have schools like where you are, Everton. So how can this program affect others who are like yourself and Pat, who are actually in the school system?
Well, I think the program is going in the right direction. The University of Miami certification program is going in the right direction by gaining a wealth of knowledge of coaches who are from different backgrounds. I think we've all coached at maybe high school and college and different backgrounds, but I think putting all our heads together will enable us to build an even stronger program and also get the right facts out to the people we're trying to get to teach.
Okay, Pat?
The biggest thing is, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, there's still fundamentals of the sport. There's still a right and a wrong way to do it. And I think that's the basis of teaching, whether it's teaching the proper way to field a ground ball, proper way to hit, how to develop a practice schedule. You have to have a system, your own system. You have to have what you believe program, what's your philosophy of coaching. So I think that's what you got to bring out. You're teaching somebody how to be a mentor of their own program, and find out, and you give them your experiences and what you think is important, and then they're going to take some of those things and they're going to build their own philosophy. But the biggest thing, it starts with fundamentals. How you deal with parents, how you deal with kids, how you teach the sport, and then let them go run with that and develop their system and program. There's a lot of different ways to do things, but you still have to start at ground level with the fundamentals of the sport.
Right. Randall, from a professional standpoint,
Well,
for professional athletes, I mean.
well, first I have to say, this particular the University of Miami sports certification program is cutting edge, and that's the bottom line. And the reason why I say it's cutting edge is because you have a lot of major universities in the state of Florida, but no university and or entity has really stepped forward to actually put the knowledge out there that either whether you be a novice or whether you be someone who's a professional can actually come out and continue to learn and achieve the goals that you want to achieve as a coach. So, when you think of the University of Miami, the sports certification coaching program, it's cutting edge and it's new, it's exciting, it's innovative, and I think that a lot of people are going to try to copy this program, but there's only going to be one, and that's the University of Miami.
I have heard that it is now required that everyone be certified. So what is the benefit of, as far as being certified to coach? Is that so, and are we actually implementing this program at the right time?
Well, most definitely. If you want to coach high school sports, you have to be a certified coach now. And I think they're going in the right direction because, in years ago it was, you played the sport, you became a teacher, and you coached in high school, and you had some of that, experience. Now, you're having people from the community that want to coach at the high school level, and for liabilities and, those kinds of things, you need to make sure that those people are educated. They know how to deal with kids, they know how to deal with parents, they know how to coach their sport. And from a high school standpoint, it is a requirement now, and the University of Miami is the only one that I know that is stepping forward and making this a giving the people opportunities to get their certification. In youth sports, they're going in the same direction, because you want to make sure that if your son or daughter play competitive sports, that they're getting the proper instruction, and they're going to be, dealing with somebody that's responsible and has their best interest in mind.
One of you had mentioned the word mentor. Coaches pretty much become mentors for your son, your daughters, your niece, your nephew, whatever area it might be, or whatever sporting area. How do you think you can prepare them through this program to be great mentors?
Well, first it's all about appearance, and everyone has their own. I have my own style. Everyone has their own style. My dad told me a long time ago, listen, when you're in front of young kids and when you're in front of even adults, project the image that you want the kids to see you as. So this program, enables coaches to not only be mentors. I think it takes on a very personable relationship, and I think each one of these coaches here has actually given out phone numbers to personal phone numbers to the students, and say, listen, if you have a question, ask me. And I've even gone as far as to tell, because since I'm a night owl and I don't sleep anyway, I've told my students, listen, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, if you have a question about a play, about what you how should you react to something on the field, pick up the phone and call me, because 9 times out of 10, I'm probably gonna be awake even at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I think the University of Miami sports coaching program and the direction of AC Tellison, he's grabbed people who are high speed, low drag, and we're bulletproof and invisible, because we like to be out there having fun, not only with the kids, but the students too. So I think that's very important.
In your different areas, are you able to engage the students in a practical format, not just theoretical?
Yes.
Yes?
So like tonight, I'm going to the Cup Stadium, and I am taking them to meet the head coach of University of Miami, Tom Agonost, and we're going to do basically theory and show them the passing and all the basics of soccer. And then tomorrow night, we're taking them to the game to do a scouting assignment. So it's going to be very interesting.
Okay, great.
In the same vein, my students have already, scouted one of the playoff games, pitch and chart, a scout. And this Saturday, all the drills that we've talked about and how to run a practice, we're going to come out to Nova High School. We have a Saturday, we call it Saturday baseball, 9 to 12, and our students are going to get an opportunity to see how to run a practice, how to hit fungos, you know, how to deal with 50 kids, you know, in a setting for 3 hours and make sure you get a lot of work accomplished. And you know, it's one thing going on a blackboard and drawing up plays and doing things, but I think it's very important that the students get some hands-on, that they see how to run a practice. You know, because baseball, there's a lot of things, just like football and basketball. It's more than standing at the blackboard. It's you know, it's a tempo of coaching. It's a tempo of the drill. And this program, the University of Miami's program, has allowed us that latitude to take the kids out on the field so they can see some of my other coaches, you know, run a drill, and they can see how the kids react. And I think that's very important for somebody that wants to coach. You need to be able to get out there and see really how things work.
You know, if I can add, you know, I've actually even challenged my students to become, actually become students of the game. Don't just become a coach. And, you know, and this is the perfect time of the year. You know, you have football season, you know, with my particular sport. And I've actually told my students, listen, if you go to the game, go to the University of Miami game, if you want to go, I'll buy you a ticket. I'll sit next to you, and let's break down the game, not from a fan's perspective, but actually from a coaching perspective, because, you know, you as a coach, you're not only a coach, but you're a student of the game.
Okay. And Kyle, in your athletic
Yeah,
segment?
in my portion, I can't take my students to games and wait for anybody to get injured. There's just not enough time. But what we do have is I have guest speakers coming in from different respective fields. So I have athletic trainers coming in and talking, as well as physical therapists and team physicians, as well as certified strength and conditioning specialists that are working with these athletes.
In my class, I do a lot of role playing. One day I may come in and I'm an angry parent because my child didn't play. Or I would challenge some student to get upset with another coach because of a situation. And even with diversity, race relations, I put two students together and they're calling each other racial names, and I ask a coach to step in and solve the situation. So we do a lot of practical, in-your-face, hardcore sometimes, role playing, just to get them prepared for the situation. I think the second day of class, I just stood up I walked up in front of a student and just started getting in his face as an angry parent because my child did not play, and I just wanted to see a reaction. And then I showed video and film of other coaches handling the same situation so they can kind of learn on the spot. So
definitely bringing reality into the classroom is a necessity to ensure that the message is put across to the students and they actually grasp the knowledge of what you're trying to impart on them. So that's excellent, bringing in the practical portion. My last question here is, what are the short and long-term benefit of taking this program for someone who is even thinking of getting into the coaching career?
The short-term benefit would be, some people might just take it to see what it's about and go into the area of, you know, of choosing football, baseball, and so forth. But when they get into it and see how intricate it is, and it's not just about the X's and O's, then they can make a decision. Wow, I want to do this. I'm interested, and that's what I found. What's really fascinating about the program with the kids in my class. I'm so into it now that the time just flies by, and then I'm still answering questions at 8:35, 8:45. I'm not out of the classroom, so that's a good sign that, first of all, the University of Miami certification program has brought in candidates like us to teach the classes, and we're finding it interested, and the kids are finding it interesting. By word of mouth now, they're going to bring other people into the program.
You know, long term, you know, I think it's important, and I get, you know, I'm going to get self-gratitude, and I'm going to be happy when I see one of my students maybe coaching in the NFL or coaching on Division I college football, having fun, and actually teaching younger adults some of the things that I've already taught them. And, you know, I say, hey, you know what, I can sit back and say, when I'm old and say, hey, you know what, I taught that guy and now he's successful. It's all because of me. No, it's not because of me. It's because what the University of Miami has set up, the University of Miami coaching program has set up, and I think it's important. And we can have pride in the green and orange as what we've actually started here.
I think the course sets that seed, and maybe that light bulb goes on, and it just pecks that interest, and it gets you excited about it to become a coach, because coaching is just rewarding. In my 40 years of coaching, it's not so much the kids that have made the professional ranks, which I've had several, but it's just the enjoyment that I get from seeing the kids that come back that are successful. They come back with their families. They call you all the time to see how you're doing. From my standpoint, coaching has been, I've never had to go to work a day. It's been that rewarding, and I want to see kids get into that and enjoy. You know, it's a community service. You're working with kids. You're giving them an opportunity to grow and mature and be responsible. You're like a second parent to them, and that's what I want my students to understand, that coaching is a great profession. You can make a career out of it, and it's one of the most rewarding things that you've ever done.
I think also the sports coaching program, it eliminates the element of ignorance as a coach, and especially with the athletic portion, the athletic injury portion, it opens the lines of communications with the sports medicine team, and those are things that can benefit you in the current season, next season, beyond, and as you were saying, being a responsible coach, eventually a parent, and taking you further into the future.
Yeah, just something as simple as learning CPR or the proper way to tackle. That's something that you'll never forget. And I just think with this program, it's so many things that you take away from it. Even if you don't become a coach, if you're out watching your son practice and you see him tackling or throwing the ball improper, you can always go and correct him. So I just think it's other things other than becoming a coach. I think these are lessons that you can take throughout your life forever.
Right. And I know that a great benefit to a lot of students is that the program is very short. It's a 2-month, very intense, very hands-on, practical, theoretical, a whole combination of the necessity to actually make a quality program. So with that said, I would like to thank all of you for imparting all this knowledge here today with us about the University of Miami Sports Coaching Certificate Program, and how much our students are enjoying what you're doing. And the University of Miami, of course, applaud all your effort, your time, and the 150% that you have engaged with the students and with this program. With that said, we close for today.